one thing I want to talk to you about is you incorporate a lot of your martial arts experience into your wrestling style. Now, I actually studied martial arts for a long time, so that is something I really wanted to talk to you about. What sparked your interest to begin studying that?
So it's very funny because people think like it's the other way around that I started pro wrestling because of my martial arts background, but it wasn't at all. Me and my older brother always loved wrestling, always did as much of it as we could at home when we were children. And when I had a friend of mine who had started doing Taekwondo at a school nearby to my house and was like, hey, would you like to come train? The first thought I had in my mind was, oh, this is going to be great when I start pro wrestling one day, which is an absurd thing to believe when you're like 11 years old, but it did work out.
Hey, man, I did it from like 5 until I was almost 20. And probably
Hell
right around that same age, I was thinking the same thing, like, oh yeah, this is going to make me a great pro wrestler.
yeah.
So is Taekwondo the only style that you've studied?
So, in terms of like traditional martial arts, yes. Taekwondo is I did Taekwondo I mean, I still train to this day whenever I get the chance, but I competed in Taekwondo regularly for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And I did, the only thing I did like officially was I have an amateur boxing match that I did as well that I started later on. But like through pro wrestling, I've ended up unofficially dabbling in all of the other martial arts. Like, cause you meet other pro wrestlers that do other martial arts and then you know, swap techniques and work out together and all that. I did some catch wrestling in Japan as well, but anything other than Taekwondo I didn't do in any like official capacity.
Gotcha. Is MMA something you've ever considered at any point in your career?
It's funny because I think about that a lot. I think that if I was born 10 years later than I was, and instead of seeing wrestling on television, I saw the UFC, I'm sure I would have gone down that route, right? If I was like more malleable still when GSP had that big welterweight title run in the UFC, if I was seeing that as a younger man, I might have been like, this is what I want to do instead of pro wrestling and gone down that route. But by the time that MMA became a thing that you could actually like pursue, like there's schools, there's gyms, it's being broadcasted to the greater public as an option, if that makes sense. I was already way too married to professional wrestling.
Gotcha. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I saw a tweet from your wife, but are you a 3rd degree black belt?
4th degree black belt.
4th degree. Wow. That's incredible.
Yep.
That's awesome. I got the 2nd in a style called Kokido and then black belt in judo as well. And I miss being able to do that. You know, it takes a toll on the back and the knees.
Well, it also helps.
It does, but I'm a little older than you. I started in the 80s before they had safety regulations about a lot of things.
Right.
So, yeah, there were certain things that they probably shouldn't have been letting us do that caused long-term damage.
I'm sure that's correct. However,
Yeah.
I wish that it was a lot more like, I wish it was better marketed. I wish that a lot of traditional martial arts had a better presentation so that adults would feel comfortable doing them. I hear a lot of people say like, Taekwondo looks great. I'd love to start, but I don't think I'm very good at it. And it's like, yeah, that's the whole point.
Well, yeah, it takes years.
Right.
So,
and you get good at it, you develop new skills, and that's how you ultimately become a better person.
Exactly.